wish I could have understood was Google was up to like 5 years back or 10 years back, and kind of understood, or what Apple, perhaps, I think people realize the potential at that point in time. But Google, the way it will encompass our lives completely, right? Everything is known by Google today. And virtually the way Facebook has become bigger and better, and today we are going live on it, right? So these are big names, and to my mind, I think 10 of these stocks, which are like the most coveted stocks in the world, basically, all put together, I think there will be multiples of Indian market cap also overall. So what's your overall view? Why this product? Why is it important? Give us everything about it.
I think the first thing was to, come to a product which is simple in nature, which people will understand, more important, which people will relate to. And then, as you rightly said, these are 10 companies which everybody knows. Probably the only two which, one Alibaba, which everybody knows also. The only
Right.
part which some people have asked me questions based on that is the Google counterpart to China, which is Baidu, which is like,
Baidu.
you enter China, it is that world, and there's no Google there. And you have to give credit to China for having created a counterpart, which we had created some infrastructure like that ourselves on the technology side. But that is the thing, when you look at India, and India is more an IT consulting sort of environment, while if you look at technology, they are very futuristic and disruptive in nature. The first thing was to look at a theme which is futuristic in place and make it as simple as possible. So the structure of the fund is 10 stocks, 10% per stock, equal weighted portfolio.
Equal weight.
Unlike
Perfect.
the indexes which are mostly market cap related, in a market cap related index, say the Nifty 50, the largest company would take the largest share of the money. In an equal weighted portfolio, the 10 stocks get 10% per stock in the amount that is allocated to them, which is a concept of smart beta, and it's a evolved concept. The most important part of the product, and I think in the future this will be the differentiating factor, I'm sticking my neck out on this one, is that it is rebalanced every quarter.
Okay.
And since it is a passive product, this is rule based, this will be maintained irrespective of the market, right? So what
but
happens
Sarup, is the rebalancing on the weights or on the names which come in or go out?
No, on the value. If any
On the
stock
value.
which is 10% has gone to say 12%, it will be rebalanced to 10%, and a stock which has not run will get the money.
Understood.
So
Got it.
when you look at our financial plans, one of the biggest reason for wealth creation is the overall, you will agree with me, is the review and the rebalance, right? Periodic review and the rebalance, which then gets your allocation back to your original plan. And that,
but I have a small question to that, Sarup, if you may permit, right? So this kind of a rebalancing where you're actually taking money off the winners and putting it to the one who's actually not made money for you, do you think it works as a long-term strategy?
Yeah, see, there are two sides to the story. Okay, rebalancing works both ways. Sometimes you might say, okay, fine, you missed out on the upside of some stock, but you put it back in a stock where the upside is not yet there. So sometimes you catch the bottom of another stock while getting out of profits of some stock. Right. So when that is practiced consistently in a rule-based manner over a period of time, and I've seen that happening in our own active hybrid fund, because we do it once in a year, the alpha generation is there to be seen in the amount, and it's a very sometimes in another session we can discuss this. It's something which we have experienced ourselves. So if it is rule-based and practiced consistently, you catch both sides. Yes, if it is one-off, and that is where the risk of rule not being followed or not being disciplined comes in. And that's why I said I stick my neck out when I say that this could be a differentiating factor. But it's a very simple product. 10 stocks of the world, as you rightly said, combined market cap of 7.7 trillion, which is 3 times the size of India. Combined revenue of over 500 billion, which is more than all the revenue of all Indian listed stocks. And
absolutely.
Most important, I like about these 10 companies, they have consistently reinvested in themselves to be ahead of the curve. I mean, look at Apple. When it started, and I'm a first generation Apple user. Right. The first iPod I used, the first iPhone I used, and I got out of iPhone recently saying that, I'm out of iPhone, but iTunes follows me. So it's no longer a product company, it's graduated to services now.
Yeah.
Look at Tesla. When it comes with an electric vehicle, which is the future, it is not just an electric vehicle company. It integrates all the other factors of electric vehicle, from providing that charging point to the battery. That's very different thought. And then, yeah. So I can
No,
go
I
on
was
talking
just,
about
maybe
this.
complete your thought and then I'll come up with my questions. Complete
No,
your thought.
just look at Facebook. Just when I thought, and I've never been on Facebook, I always give this example for the sake of repetition, because I used to take pride that I'm not there on Facebook because I have enough friends physically. Just when I thought I'd lead my life without Facebook, they took over WhatsApp. And can I lead life without WhatsApp? No, I can't. So these are companies which are always ahead of the curve, think too much ahead of the curve, and then maintain that stance. So I believe that, there are some risks in owning some stocks. There are some risks in not owning certain stocks. These 10 stocks appear in the bracket where if you don't own them in the next 10, 15 years, the risk can be higher.